Welcome back to my channel, guys. Obsessed with Christmas. It is almost that time. It is mid-September as I film this, and it is still hot here. So hopefully this won't be too long. What we're going to do today is I'm going to show you just a quick tutorial on these guys. I do have some already cut, and I think I'm going to find some as well, some pieces that are not cut, so that I can cut them for you and you can see what I'm talking about. So stay right there. I have found just a random piece that I have glued together. I was going to use this for something and I can't remember what. So instead, we're going to turn it to one of these guys over here. So this is my little foam cutter. I got it off Amazon. You can use a hot wire foam factory tool if you want, or another one. Hot wire foam factory is, in my opinion, the best, but you can use another one. The main goal here is do not push it through. Let your tool do the work, or you will bend or possibly break your knife. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so this has now been carved up. It's going to give us some great lines, as you can see here, right? Some great lines to for the paint to stick with. We have our black wash. Always good to shake it up a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead. I just poured it right on there. Waste less paint that way, as opposed to pouring it somewhere else. And we're just going to put it on there. The holes are great too, because all these are going to be little tiny crevices for your paint to go. You can, of course, if you want to, you can plaster this first before you start. It's really a personal preference. These, for me, this year are going to be just kind of backdrop extra elements, just design elements. So we don't need a whole bunch of super duper like front and center maybe detail. These are going to be some little walls and stuff like that. Whoops. that is one finished. I don't know if you can see, it's really shiny and wet, but can you see the detail from carving versus if it was just, like on the back here all flat? This has to dry because it is so warm, it will not take very long. I'm going to go ahead and paint the other two ones, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you some more detail on how to put all the gray and your white and your various shades on. If this is your very first video finding me and you're like, why did that paint go on so easy? This is because it is what is called a black wash. It's about 70% water, about 30% paint. No, I don't measure. It's just sort of an eyeball. It should drip off of your paintbrush. I'll see y'all in a minute. I have now painted my other little mountains. And I have mixed up some gray paint, which you'll be able to see better in a minute. And now this one really should stand up best because the sides are not flat, so this would be one to definitely do vertically. See how that doesn't really work? This one could go either way, but this one is definitely for lying on its side. And now on this one, I didn't wipe the brush off, as you can see, so it came out a bit thicker. So this one I have not finished as of this recording because it had to dry. It was taking longer to dry because there was more paint, but we will go in with that lighter color to give it all that extra contrast. And this time the paintbrush has a lot less paint. You can see I'm holding it mostly essentially parallel to the little mountain. That way we can get those all those crevices that we have carved. And you can start to see the shadows and it taking shape a little bit better. It doesn't just look all black. And now to get a little bit more paint on the brush, make sure to wipe it off like I did on the top of the jar here. Just like that. And then we'll move our jar back and we'll again start holding the brush parallel to it, because our goal is not to paint this all gray. Our goal is for it to catch the sort of higher parts so that the black then represents a shadow as we do this. So you will not need too much paint. See how it's picking up the gray, and then the black left behind makes it look shadowy. Now that it's starting to dry, you can see how it looks with the one coat, how it's starting to pick up the lighter colors and then the shadows. This one, see, is still too wet. We are going to get back to this one, but it's going to take a little bit longer for this one to dry. I think it'll be good when we can finally finish it though. And now on to our second coat. I added just some more white to our mix already. You can see it looks lighter. Definitely don't forget to wipe off the excess. We're not painting it gray, we're just giving it some highlights. And again, hold it basically right against it so that we're gonna wind up hitting those higher parts. I can't seem to get the right amount of paint on my brush. See now how it's starting to get even more dimension as we go? Look at the top here. See how that's just adding extra? The sides aren't quite as important, but it's a good way to get rid of a little bit of extra paint sometimes. And see what a difference this other coat makes. How it's really starting to become something you might see in nature. And this really doesn't take that much paint. Now that both the highlight coats have been put on, I'm going to use a little bit of white paint. I have tried to take off any extra because any extra of that gray is just going to dilute that white highlight that I'm going for. Trying to make it down to a chisel, although this paintbrush is older. See, just a little bit of paint there, not a lot, right on the end. And we're just going to do a sort of tap, tap, tap. We're just hitting, again, some of the parts that stick out. Not all the parts that stick out, because that's not how a mountain would look in real life. So we're just picking some areas to add the white paint to. Don't get carried away with this. It starts to get real fun, and then you can overdo it. I mean, then you can just go back in and repaint, but better to not have to do that, because that way you can move on to your next project, as opposed to redoing something you got carried away with. Although I will say I have been carried away more than once. All right, do y'all see the difference in the white now where I've put the extra highlight? And right here, watch again. Do you see how certain parts, they look more white and more bright? Because you don't do that all over. You just want to put it in a few places, bring some attention. So you really don't need that much paint.